All right, so we've defeated all but 2 so far. We do have incoming SAMs.
Those are probably SA5s that are meant to cover big, long range. Should probably use your. There goes one.
They're engaged defensive. Let's see if they missed. No, they got one. Damn. All right, so I'm gonna pull that group back farther.
Ouch.
We
Oh
did
yeah,
we did shoot off quite a bit of our missiles though. Weirdly.
yeah. The F-15 is. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Your F-15s will get shot. That's another sort of thing I wanted to. I don't know if it was illustrate or basically demonstrate or what the right word is, but basically it's not. Having F-15s does not mean you will win every engagement just because the U.S. has had such great success. So, yeah,
And the Israelis, let's not forget them.
Yeah, and Israelis have that. That's as much as planning, setup. If you did the Bekaa Valley scenario in Shifting Sands, you'd see basically that all the hidden factors that are involved for that. So just having F-15s alone doesn't guarantee you that much. This was made abundantly clear. I've forgotten how much, and when I was making the scenario and testing it myself, how many F-15s dropped, but it's quite a lot. So these F-15s are. So yeah, the F-15s, especially the older kinds, are going to take a hit unless you're really good or get really good dice rolls. There you go.
All right, so we found those F-14s. Or at least we found one of them. I'm not sure what these are. I am RTBing my 8, or I guess my 7 now. F-15Cs. They're down to just a couple handful of Sparrows each, and the Sidewinder is just too short range for the engagements I want to fight here.
Yeah, the AMRAAMs, and use the AMRAAMs, your F-15Ss, the ones with AMRAAMs on them, and get the tankers with the Eurofighters across. Those are amazing, and they have basically the best missile in the world.
The Meteor?
Yeah.
You're supposed to say the AMRAAM is the best missile in the world.
Well, it's one of the best at any rate. I'm
gonna say that the Meteor is a nice missile. I will, Same with the AIM 2000.
Yeah.
It's still kind of, I don't want to say amazes me because that's not really quite the word, but it still surprises me sometimes that missiles like like the Sidewinder, even in the AIM 9X, and the AIM 2000 are even still around when you have missiles like the AMRAAM. Yes, they're shorter, yes, you got longer range and all that, but it's like, who wants to go into knife fighting range?
Well, and of course the details are, well, the basically guns and even air-to-air missiles are basically kind of like the short-range air-to-air missile is basically I would say and this is a weird and possibly inaccurate analogy. It's basically the air-to-air equivalent of the rifle, the basic infantry rifle that it's there, it's good for things, but when it comes down to it against a full-end opponent, it's not at the top of the food chain by a long shot. And the air-to-air gun, on the other hand, that's on fighters, I would say is basically like the air-to-air equivalent of the bayonet or knife. But that's just maybe one of my very weird analogies. I love making these strange analogies.
All right, so it looks like we don't have any attacks incoming right now. I did launch a couple Eurofighters. I am going to bring them across and use them as my cap, since I don't feel like I don't really want to trust two F-15Cs with Sparrows, and I'm going to use my F-15Ss with AMRAAMs over here as strike escort. And I
Yes.
think with that, first thing up should be my tankers are just about on station. I've got two KE-3A Sentry tankers. It's actually, I had to actually look this up when I saw this last night. They actually are, basically it's an E3 airframe but it's a tanker, so I'm not sure why it's not just called the KC-135. I'm
I don't know. Maybe it was with the Saudis, or maybe it was to get the modified E3 line going a little more. I myself. So
I actually have to look it up now.
yeah.
The KE-3As, these were not AWACS aircraft, but the CFM-56 powered tankers based on the E3 design, it were sold to Saudi Arabia. So it's basically they just had a different engine.
Yeah.
And how the convoluted way that the 707 has gone as far as naming. That's a weird spot for a SAM battery, right out in the middle of the Gulf. I'm pretty
Probably
sure.
just a radar contact. Probably just a radar uncertainty zone. They can
Yeah, it's just.
hear
I
it.
think it's. I think he's emitting.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty.
because it's on Karg Island. It's just probably on Karg Island. It's just the uncertainty zone covers Karg and the Gulf itself.
Yeah.
That's how it.
All right. So first thing I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna launch my F-15Ss. Let's go and get them airborne. Tankers are just about on station now, so that's good. Let's see, we have 6. So I'm gonna arm these in groups of 2. And then once they're airborne, then I will launch my strike aircraft. I'm gonna send in my alarm armed missiles first, although that is a lot of SAMs. We're going to be avoiding that. We're going to go for the Kark Island infrastructure, which is probably still going to bring us in within range of the SAMs over there at Bushehr. So Coiler, now that you're done with the live scenario, are you going to be doing any more just for your own this year? Are you
My own um, depends on a lot of things. I have ideas for what to do. So I think that I have, as usual, 1,000 scenario ideas and enough time to do like 5 even at the most. So that's the perils of scenario design, and that's the perils of scenario design. But I should say that one thing I'm curious of, because the live sen has been a big confidence builder for me in that regards, is I might try making a legitimate, fairly large, even if not this size, two-sided scenario where the player can play as either side and be reasonable. Because now that I've gotten the hang of that, it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, see, I'm definitely a fan of at least as far, maybe it's just because of scripting, but I'm definitely a fan more of single, it's only playable by one side, but that's probably just me.
Yeah, I've had that same way too. In fact, this was basically the second. The first was very small, but I still like the sort of one-sided because the fundamentals are different and you don't have to worry about as much. But now that I've done something big and two-sided, it's making me a little curious of what more can I do with something that's two-sided, if not necessarily as big.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when it comes to two side, unless you're like two sides, unless you're doing something like KMC, where the two sides are rushing to destroy you know certain targets. I just don't find the versus scenarios work, especially since I like to pretend I do a lot of scripting in my scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, two-sided generally you can play as either the carrier in your favorite place, the GIUK gap, or you can play as the backfire regiment rushing to destroy that carrier, that sort of thing. So
I
they
Go
they
ahead.
have that sort of big feeling to. I've seen a few of those. That sort of impression.
Yeah, that is definitely a scenario I would like to see made is the reverse dance of the vampires. Because to my knowledge, nobody has done that scenario.
Actually, I think someone is doing a Red Storm Rising campaign, and they're doing at least a testing reverse Dance of the Vampires, where I think you are playing as the bombers. And I know a few other World War III ones they've done playing as some sort of the attackers of a carrier group, even if it's not trying to take the um, book exactly.
See, I don't necessarily want something that recreates the book. I just want that scenario in general.
Yeah, I think later I can show you what ones I think the the sort of the backfires side. I caught your last stream when you were talking with the Shifting Sands developer, how he said that the his favorite scenario was the fifth Esquadra because it was a rarely seen view of how a sort of surprise strike like that would go. I kind of like that sort of asymmetrical approach. So that's one of the reasons why I've wanted to make it featuring Iran because they've been since 1979 all about asymmetric warfare in some form or another.
True. All right, so we've got our F-15Ss airborne, moving them into position, launching my anti-radiation armed SCAD aircraft now. Gonna hopefully go and take out that those two IHawk batteries.
The the actually the I found the alarms don't work as much on iHawk. They're not sensitive. Don't work nearly as well on iHawks as they do on SA5s. Um,
Just bursting my bubble tonight, aren't you?
yeah, well, I made this scenario, so I kind of feel like I know it kind of too much. I could be mean and either let you blunder into every nook and cranny trap, or deliberately give you misleading information. Uh,
You're supposed to be deceptive and shifty-eyed, and
yeah, I guess I'm too nice, but I will say you can just launch all your strike aircraft and you just launch them straight up the middle, and that's the best approach to winning this scenario. And
that
don't care.
that has never ever worked out for me, like ever. Anytime I've
Yeah,
ever tried that.
yeah, I'm just pulling your leg.
I mean,
Okay.
if there's anybody who really needs the advanced strike planner, it would be me, just because my ability to coordinate time on target is just horrible.
Um, yeah, it's weird watching you play just in general. My play style's a lot different than yours because I'm mostly hands off. I just sort of set up in personal play, I sort of set up missions and then leave it at that. So I do very little manual plotting unless it's an exceptional thing.
Yeah, see, I don't really like using missions because I never seem to get my missions to work out right. I mean, I have my air-to-air missions usually, and like my general support missions, but like my strike missions, I would much rather control my aircraft ingress and egress. All right, so alarms are airborne. Gonna go ahead and launch my Storm Shadow, armed tornadoes. Um, I really don't want to send in tornadoes into this, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. Launches group, or no. Um, Actually, I'm gonna launch these in groups of 3. Launches group, launches group. Alright, so strike aircraft are taking off. Wonder if we can bait in any of these. Looks like we've lost track of the, Alright, looks like we've lost track of the F-15, or the F-14s. So if I had to guess, they're on some sort of patrol line towards the middle area of the country.
Well, I'll just say see for yourself.
Oh, that's scary. Ugh. Alright, I think we can go slightly faster here. So all of my F-15s have landed. Where are my Eurofighters? They are happily making their way across the country. Let's go ahead and get these other 2 off. Probably should just launch them all together. It's time to do some work. Alright, so they're armed with Sparrows. Eh, not too worried about them. GBU 12, GBU 31s. So GBU 31s are those are the big bunker busters. Big 2,000-pound penetrators. GBU 12s. I think these are the 500-pound. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and launch these guys. What I should have just done is done like a rally mission is what I should have done.
Yeah, support mission in the middle of the country right next to the tanker.
Eh, it'll be fine. All right, so we've picked up the F-14s again. They've lit off their big AUG-9 radars. Damn, you can see those things from a long ways away. All right. Why is there no carrier battle group? This scenario needs a carrier battle group.
Well, neither country exactly has any care.
But
Uh,
but it needs like U.S. carriers.
well, I will tell you one thing I considered, um, but ended up not implementing. I considered a sort of soft wall over Iraq, um, by just having like a ton of American aircraft that would be flying over Iraq, trying to block off anyone, or at least Iran, that would just be blocking that off. But then for various reasons, I I scrapped that idea. Iraq's now open.
Did you ever consider having like the U.S. basically like opposing the strike?
Yeah, it's just that I think the reason why one of the reasons why, besides just scenario creep, was that I thought, that if they just shot down Iran and nothing else, that would unbalance it way too much in favor of the Saudis. But if they, but having them shoot down the Saudi aircraft that strayed into Iraqi airspace, or at least strayed too close, I felt that was a little iffy. Like, even if the U.S. opposed the strike politically, and they wouldn't oppose it to the strength of, they wouldn't oppose it to the extent of actively shooting the Saudi aircraft down.
True.
Um, it would be like the U.S. was, and this is obviously an apples and oranges thing, the U.S. was a little hesitant on the British in the Falklands War, but that doesn't mean that they were having the Nimitz steam south and just launch huge airstrike against the British task force. That would be dumb. So I figured that, combined with my scenario creep bias, had me scratch that. I do. So the F-15s are heading over the Gulf.
Yeah, I'm just moving them out, see if I can bait anything to come to me. We are getting another air search radar lighting off. And this ambiguity zone has placed the IHawk, or both IHawk batteries, on the island. So speaking of live scenarios, is there any particular live scenario other than this that you would like to see kind of going forward?
Um, well, a little, I'm a little I'm a little hesitant because during the production of this, there were several other concepts talked about, and I don't want to say that, and because I'm somewhat paranoid about secrets, NDAs, stuff like that, I'm not really, they could still be adopted. They could still possibly be adopted later, even I honestly don't know what, if any's next. For a live scenario, so I'm not really wanting to mention those directly. So I don't know what, if any, have been chosen. So that's sort of by their absence. But for a live scenario, but for a live senorio, I can tell you a type of scenario I'd like to see for live, even though I would also say that could never do this myself because I don't have nearly the Lewis skills. But there's a type of live scenario I think would be fascinating, and I don't know where it is. It could technically be anywhere. Because you see, you yourself have talked about a scenario type that you've called basically a day in the life of CENTCOM.
I have.
Yeah, this would be something similar to that, um, in that you have a lot of a lot of stuff, a lot of random variants. But one thing you wouldn't have in this hypothetical live scenario is that much of a conventional threat, at least not that big a chance of one in this hypothetical scenario. It's sort of like a lot of chance, a lot of restrictions, a lot of ways would be a lot of ways to challenge the player without without just throwing a wall of advanced fighters in their path. Something like, how am I supposed to get in position to track a target long enough for me to confirm it and get permission to engage it, and then do the same for the next possible target? But so that seems fascinating, but it would also require a whole lot of Lua that I'm not really a Lua person. But it's still an interesting concept, and
We
that's
we have F-14s. We have a lot of
yes.
F-14s tracking now.
I'm hopefully a little optimist. I think I'm a little optimistically fielded, given that they're old. They've fought through a decade in the Iran-Iraq war and all those things, but I decided to err on the side of lots of them for the sake of scenario balance, because that's what I said earlier is, when in doubt, handicap it towards the Iranian side. So here come the kitties. Here come a lot of angry kitties.
Oh, wrong flight of aircraft. So this one here, they're gonna drop down. I need to reposition my AMRAAM armed aircraft. I'm gonna send them kind of a little bit more to the south. We'll keep this group, actually we'll keep this group over in the north. We'll send 2 south. I don't really see any of them making a direct path for me. Maybe this group. These guys look like they're just flying normal patrol. I don't see anybody like beelining for me, but I assume that as soon as I enter their whatever their engagement range is, they're gonna turn on me. Alright, so let's go and turn the strike aircraft in. I am dropping all my aircraft down to about 2,000 feet.
Forgive my yawning. I might not be still tired.
Oh, that's fine, Coiler. If you need to bail out at any point just to go get some sleep, I don't want to keep you up.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you up either, so you can.
I'm gonna probably play until this strike goes in, just to see how this strike goes, or how
Yeah.
badly this
Well,
strike is likely to go. And then as soon as that, I'm probably gonna call it before I do this, and I'll save it and pick it back up another time.
yeah.
Probably either this weekend or some on one of next week's streams.
Well, when you feel better, I'm
Yeah,
just.
when I'm over the plague, nonetheless. That's
Yeah.
that's really the big thing for me right now is just
I think it's
try.
flu or just a cold.
I'm not sure to be honest. I mean, for me, it's like it's kind of one of the same. So
Yeah.
I'm heavily considering. It doesn't help that I'm pig-headed and stubborn, and I can't tell work no, and so I've been working basically since I got back.
I'm pretty. Um. I've been like that too. I've sort of, in jobs like that, I've dragged myself to work as long as I'm physically able. One time when I broke my record, such as it is, and finally did call in, it was my family had to reassure me and help convince me that this was a good idea. It was. And just I can be, so I know how it is to be stubborn. It's Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's just pushing yourself too far. I see the Tomcats are moving closer. I think
Yeah,
they found you.
we've anchored a couple groups. Hopefully, I'm assuming that they're armed with Phoenix missiles, but if
Well,
so, they're well within range at the. Well, no, they'll be entering the range. If they have Phoenix, we are entering their engagement range now. All right, we've also pissed off a second group. They're inbound on us. And they're happily firing away SAMs at me, which if that's what they want to do, good for them. I'm gonna fire all right, so we're down at 2,000 feet on this group of tornadoes. I'm gonna have to close in in fact, I may actually go down lower. Let's drop down to 1,000 feet. In fact, go down to on the deck. We do have SAMs inbound. Okay, they're fire. Oh, nope, those aren't SAMs. Those are coming from the Tomcats. So actually, I need to do something else. I do not want this group to. I do not want to do automatic evasion. They are to charge in. Otherwise, they're just going to end up spending all their time basically. Yep, those are Phoenixes. Active weapon seeker. They hit one. Missed. Go to military. Try and close in.
yeah, Jeff 850. The Phoenixes are another big question mark in real life, so I also air
Yeah,
for
I'm
gameplay reasons.
all right. So our 15s are engaging the you don't go automatic evasion either. Otherwise, they just end up basically getting to a turning and hey, we're just going to get slaughtered out here. All right, so they have destroyed two of our. All right. All right, so we've got missiles closing in. I'm going to just go and tell them to actively engage. All right, so they're going to have to turn away from us. Let's see how they good are at dodging. Missed.
Surprisingly good, especially
The
since the
last
AMRAAMs
remaining
are.
F-14 Tomcats in the world will at least die with a bang rather than a whimper, as the footage has emerged of a wreck of an Iranian F-14 shot down during the ongoing clash between it and Saudi. The Iranian government refused to comment on speculative losses, but insisted it's maintaining a positive kill ratio. Nice. I like the bulletin there, Coiler.
Yeah, yeah, I like these flavor events in my scenarios
It's definitely
too.
something that I wish more people would do.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's something that gets done a lot. All right, so we actually have to pop up to at least 200 feet.
Might try
So
a bearing only attack with the alarms if they don't launch by themselves.
no, I
That
was
might stand it.
they were gonna launch. I was just too low for the launch.
Okay.
They have a
I've had
minimum.
trouble getting them to launch. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, no, I was down at like 50 feet.
Yeah.
My units had to. All right, so they're gonna now turn around. Hopefully, oh come on. I don't know what we got. All right, so we're still detecting radar. We did get some kill though. Let's see, what did we get? So we destroyed. Um, so we missed the IHawk. And we had a miss, 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 a hit, a miss, and a miss. Oh no, those are AMRAAM, sorry. I don't know. Oh, plug and alarm has detonated. Alright, so we did alright, so we did get a hit on one of the IHawk. And that looks like it's it. Everything else looks like it missed. Well, that sucks. Actually, we may have got 2 hits. So, not too bad, not great, but we do have a second group coming in. They're down at 2,000 feet. We're going to go ahead and order them. Unassign. I like to manually do targeting.
Yeah, even I like to do some manually targeting too.
And just salvo 3 at each. There we go. Just go and salvo 3. 3 missiles at each battery. Go and let them close in now. There we go. Missiles away. And go and get this group to return to base. We are taking losses as they're pulling away. We do have more F-14s coming in on us. And we're firing at them too, so we may they're firing at us, we're firing at them. This is going to turn into a real cluster. All right, so we are getting hits. Looks like we did okay, looks like that was probably overkill on those batteries. Looks like we got their radars the first time around. So
Well,
with that,
there's no such thing as it's either there's no such thing as overkill or
of course there's
that's
such a thing as overkill.
well, that's the joke at least. How have the F-14s performed? They've done the job I expected them to do as a scenario designer. That's what I can say.
All right, so I am ordering basically my strike aircraft in now. I am going to drop all of these guys down. All right, so well, that was not what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to launch my Storm Shadows now, but fine.
It's actually good to launch them from pretty far away because they're standoff weapons. That's kind of the point.
That's a little interesting that those Storm Shadows were just kind of holding in space there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think that's a bug. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that was a bug, but all right,
Yeah.
so I want these guys to drop down low. All right, so how are we doing? We're getting some misses and we're losing aircraft. Everybody, you guys, how are you guys doing? You guys are out of
Try
sight
to
of me.
attack. We've got that one.
Yeah, I am going to pause just because I do want to figure out where in the hell my Eurofighters are at. Oh, they're still flying across the country. Still, they're... Hang on a second. I forgot to change a setting yesterday. Game options. Oh, showing feet. That's interesting that I'm seeing fuel in kilograms. For some reason, I thought those were used to be in pounds, but maybe I'm imagining things.
Yeah.
Um, so we got still 2 hours of fuel left on them. They should be fine. Although whether they're gonna make it for this engagement or not is a completely another thing. Um, Go ahead and engage, guys. Charge. Where's this flight? They've got AMRAAMs? fire. This group, they're RTB. Alright, so we're pretty much keeping the Iranian F-14s so far trimmed back. We're not doing great against them, but we're not. They are getting awfully close, and they are closing in on our strike aircraft. Not sure what this group's doing back there. Charge. Must have missed them. I'm gonna send my backup squadron into range, even though they are armed with sparrows. But this is turning into just a really giant, like, furball over here, and I need every aircraft I can get. Yeah, so far they're not. I mean, we are getting kills. Wonder if they're gonna fire their own missiles at. Fire. Oh, they're dodging. That's why. Well, we are getting misses, misses. All right, where? Eurofighters, where are you? Hurry up. I really don't want to go to burner because that's just going to burn out fuel and they're not going to get there at that point, but all right. So everybody now should be engaging. Go and turn off automatic evasion so that they can continue on their strike profile. All right, we are getting hits. Storm Shadows are getting through thanks to
Okay. Yeah, if you notice, the Iranians had several fighters based on Karg itself.
that doesn't surprise me. I figured that.
Um,
I just chose to ignore it.
yeah, that's the F-14s are the real threat.
And really, I just want my strike aircraft to get in and drop their bombs and then get the hell out.
Yeah.
Well, looks like I mean we are cleaning up the Iranian. I mean we're definitely taking losses, but the F-14 is pretty much been hit pretty bad. So we are gonna at least do some damage to this oil refinery. So this group still has 3 tornadoes left. This group still has 3. This group still has 2. They are RTB. Not sure what that group's doing. Hey, unassign and go kill that F-14, please.
They have just sidewinders, I think. Just
Yeah, they're
sidewinders.
they're they're fine with sidewinders.
Your tornadoes are, I think, a little too low.
Yeah, they're diving up and down. I'm gonna bring them up.
Yeah, I think they need to be up to get to drop their smart bombs. Even higher than that, I.
Well, no, I mean in theory the paveway has release altitude of 10,000 feet to 16 or 65,000 feet. So they should be good. They're climbing up now. My lonely strike air, my last group armed with paveways that I forgot about. All right, so we are getting hits. Goodbye oil refinery.
Yeah.
All right, so how's this group doing? I think they should all be RTB now. Engage defensive. They need their RTB now. They've still got two. Let's just have them head home. It's okay if they come home with a couple bombs. I'm okay with that. How did this guy get through and I didn't notice? Go kill... No. You still go kill that. And I think... I have no idea how this guy got over there. Unassign. And then... I must have accidentally grabbed him. Assigned to mission, AEW North.
I guess you should. Well, you said you'd play at least till that strike, so the strike struck.
Yep, I'm just kind of pulling everybody else back now. Although we do have a
Yeah.
really kind of nice engagement going on here between all right, one F-15 versus an F-14, and that F-14's behind him. He's probably not gonna get out of there.
Yeah.
Here comes the missile. Yep, he's gone. What do we still got inbound? So I'm just gonna RTB this group. I'm not gonna send them in there going in unsupported. And I think with that, that's gonna be it for tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see how we did though before we. I don't usually like looking at losses and expenditures, so we've lost one F-15C, six F-15Ss, one Patriot, one Structure, six Tornadoes, and what have we killed? We've killed 9 diesel tanks, six F-14As, three F-14A AMs, an IHawk battery, structures, 5 Su-24s, 14 Su-24 MKs, and a couple vehicles. So, honestly, I think the exchange rate's actually definitely in my favor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go ahead and save the scenario, and I will be kind of picking this up at some point going forward.
Well, it was nice being on stream with you, and it was very.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for Coiler for being on. And
No problem.
thank you everybody for watching. You can follow me here at twitch.tv/Kushan Gaming. I'm also Kushan Gaming on YouTube and Kushan Gaming on Twitter as well. Claire, is there anywhere else people can follow you at? Do you want to?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Coiler Creative on Twitter. And that has a link to my blog, and I blog a lot on Blue too.
Alrighty.
Okay, well, I guess the Twitch chat bot doesn't like me posting links, so well.
I will get that fixed here. Probably not tonight, but I will get that fixed.
Yeah, it's Coiler Creative at Twitter. Coiler Creative. That's okay. Have a good night, and hopefully you'll feel better soon.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Good night.